For sure, yes, we feel, but I will say it's not a very hard pressure from the point of view that it makes your work harder, difficult. It is natural pressure. You understand why it is important. First of all, the special representative position and office was first opened in Shusha, and I was the first special representative appointed there. And so it brings me, of course, a much higher responsibility, because on the work how we start to deliver our duties there and implement the instructions and all the rules that have been applied by Mr. President over there, it brings you a very high responsibility. So that's one thing. And the second pressure is, you feel the pressure of time. You have to deliver and to monitor and to coordinate so many efforts of various agencies, organizations, both public and private there, that needs to be delivered in a certain time frame. First of all, we started working with our Committee of Urban Planning and Architecture to work out the Shusha new master plan. Because without a master plan, it's not easy to
Was this before the Patriotic War?
No, it was just right after the war ended. I think 1.5 months, 2 months later. And it was one of my first duties in the first days and weeks. So we worked with a UK-based company, Chapman Taylor, to work out this master plan. And
I've met them. I think she's a German lady who's head of the department in there. So enthusiastic about working with you guys. So enthusiastic on the evolution that you're undertaking.
She's from Poland, actually.
Poland, correct,
Polish,
yes.
But works for many years in the UK. Yeah, we also appreciated working with them because they really proved to be very professional, and we learned a lot from their experience, and we worked a very detailed master plan for the city. Of course, we had to do a lot of things in parallel, because we cannot wait until the master plan will be approved, etc. But step by step, we implemented a number of infrastructure projects, because they were number one important issue there, because you need to bring water, electricity, and other facilities available there. If you look at all region of Karabakh and East Zangezur, and among 8 cities that were, occupied and destroyed, Shusha was the only city that was not destroyed very much from the point of view of living conditions.
Why?
Yes, they destroyed number of monuments, majority of historical monuments related to our heritage, but because they lived there, during the occupation, they were about 3,500 Armenians, mainly militants, combatants who were fighting there and who were living there, and also their families lived there as occupants. So they keep it maintaining. They had water, they had some electricity, of course, and vicinity to Khankandi provided them some more or less normal lifestyle. But soon after the war ended, in November 2020, they cut off all the gas and they exploded all the power stations nearby, so we cannot, have any use of them. But it didn't stop us from building a very rapidly a first power station there, which was built in 3 months period, 3-4 months period, to provide a sustainable energy to city. We, within a framework of 1 year, fully established the first stage of water supply to the city to make it sustainable, because Shusha on a high elevation, it's around 1,500, 1,600 meters above the sea level. And we managed to establish the also telecommunications network there. Gas came a bit later. It just recently arrived to Shusha, and now we I mean, the time I'm giving you this interview, we are preparing to connect first residential complex to the gas network of Azerbaijan. We have a very strict time frame. We are bringing this spring 370 families, so it is about 1,300, 400 people. They will be living in the new residential complex, which is about 23 buildings, which we built from zero in one of the nice locations in Shusha. First of all, it's our cultural capital, and it's a big pride and honor for everyone who is doing the work there to make it happen better. And of course, as you pointed very correctly, the attention to detail is, gives us also the feeling that we are doing a good job. Yes, it takes time when you are paying attention to the facade, all the outside lookings, also interiors, but also you need to think about the efficiency of these buildings and infrastructure. So the combination of all this work is required some work of good professionals, both from architecture point of view, from engineering point of view. And again, I would like to thank our teams who were supporting us during this project from the city master plan preparation, because they provided a lot of inputs regarding how this building should look like. Well, today we have, if we speak about Shusha city, I'll give you a bit history. Before the occupation, on the day of occupation in 1992, we had about 16,000 people registered in Shusha. But during these 30 years, the population naturally grew up. So we have today about 21,000 people who are officially registered as Shusha city residents. Besides them, we have about 10,000 people who are the residents of Shusha district. Shusha district is also consists of some villages. Most of them were destroyed. So we all consider them as Shusha residents. So that's the total population, and the master plan is foreseen for the population of up to 25,000 during the next 20 years. We are, as a government at this stage, our primary task to make sure that we build all the living conditions, facilities for refugees, former IDPs, to be able to return and live peacefully in their homes. Government provides this free of charge. So by the end of 2026, we have this Great Return program, which is staged on. Yeah. And the first stage finishes end of 2026. We will have to provide living conditions for 8,000 Shusha residents. So 8,000 people of Shusha residents will be available to live. Besides them, we will, of course, we understand that the economy, the social economy development of the city will require some additional workforce also, and people from various regions will also come and join, but they will provide it with at the first stage with service apartments and something like that. First of all, we spoke with elderly people who remember Shusha in old times, and they know the stories about every house, about every prominent persons who lived there and spent summers there. Shusha is a homeland for majority of our artists, musicians, and writers, and they always were surrounded by a lot of intellectuals who were coming. So we had to know all the history very properly. We take that we have to, whatever we build and how we develop the city, we have to preserve this history. We have to make sure that our master plan and all activity over there is is based on two main pillars. One is to preserve the historical heritage by means of reconstruction and rehabilitation of monuments, and also the city's historical pattern. And second is to provide sustainable, inclusive, and comfort living for city residents and its visitors. But the second one should not be, the first one cannot be sacrificed to the second one, if you understand what I mean. I mean, so the priority will be always given to the preservation of historical heritage. That's why implementing the works of construction and infrastructure, today we are digging up the roads, bringing up all the infrastructure under the roads. We pay very, very special attention to every single house. If it is considered of merit of heritage importance, we should preserve it. And if we don't do even restoration right now, we do at least conservation and keep it for future generation to decide. We always try to explain, and I believe our Shusha people, residents who are currently living in the other parts of Azerbaijan, they also understand how careful we should be with reconstruction and rebuilding this city, so they know how to be patient with that. It takes time. Shusha is a special attention for that. It's like you mentioned, the jewel in the crown. So we have to really take care of it very seriously. And I have to say you one thing, every month I have one day in Baku when all Shusha people can come and have a meeting with me.
Like a majlis?
Yeah, like it's a majlis. So they come one by one or family by family. Full day is allocated for meeting me, and they can ask about any questions they like. What about when they will move? What will happen with their house? How they gonna to live there? What about the jobs, etc. And it's, for me, it's a really good opportunity to.
Is that your initiative?
It was initiative of Mr. President.
Okay. So each of the representatives has an open door day.
Yes, you have it public on website of President Office, that every special representative has a certain day in month when he has to make himself available for meeting the people.
What's your day?
Well, this month will be 23rd of February.
23rd, and
so
it's here?
It changed in Baku, not in here. We have a special reception.
And these are not private meetings, they're open?
Yeah, they are open, like they can become one by one. But if they come 5-6 people, I can also receive them. We have a big reception room. When we started think about time frame for relocating our former IDPs, the first question was, okay, when they move back here, we provide nice housing, etc. What will be they doing daily, where they will work? Because 30 years is a big period. It's a kind of new generation came up who never lived there, who have probably already worked in some other fields, but they want to come back. We'll be able to provide them similar jobs. But Shusha has a special, also, I would say, own custom-made economy. There will be no factories there. There will be no, big agricultural possibilities in this city. However, we will be developing Shusha as a main tourism location. It means hotels. It means hospitality sector. Food and beverage sector, like the restaurants and retail. So it means we have opportunity to bring the people back, and at the same time to educate them together with various other agencies, ministries, and they are dealing with that currently on professional trainings. For example, if we have some young people today, the young people who are dealing with or doing some work in some restaurants here in Baku, I think it's we already started this process. By the way, we encourage some big hotel chains to bring them to internship, to work for them, and we have dozens already being trained. So when they move to Shusha, they can work in five-star hotels. You know, we have already one in Shusha.
It's beautiful, by the way.
It's beautiful, but only that hotel requires more than 250 people as a staff. We want this to gradually grow, and ideally we will have at least 70-80% Shusha residents working. Yeah, we understand there are all requirements, it requires them, but we have other regions as an example. If you go to other regions in north of Azerbaijan or west of Azerbaijan, where hotels are already about 10 years or 8 years are working, you have many local people working there on a good level of service. Of course, it's not easy to answer what would happen if we wouldn't have this occupation. Most probably city will be developed as same as the other regions of Azerbaijan. I will say it will be the somewhere isolated city. We will bring the roads because it's natural that you go to other places in Azerbaijan, you see the networks, the infrastructure. But our today's goal is that Shusha will be the very well-developed resort city on regional level. Proximity to two airports, one in Fizuli, another in Khankendi. I am sure it also includes Gulf countries, tourism, because we now, you probably noticed there are many tourists coming to Azerbaijan, especially in summer months to spend time here.
Escape the heat.
Escape the heat, but because of their interest and they want to see, and we feel that they like to enjoy the food and the nature. And at the same time, if you have also in addition to that, or on top of that, the cultural heritage to be reliable, like mosques after they rehabilitated, restored, that will bring a big value to the tourism attractiveness of Karabakh
and they are high spend GCC.
They have their own demands. That's why it gives also a challenge to the tourism industry, and the infrastructure should be also reliable to that level, so to that demands. So we airports that were recently built in Fizuli, I'm sure there will be flights coming directly from GCC countries or from Turkey, or from in future in Iran also. European low costers can come. I mean,
you have that plan?
We have that vision.
Fantastic.
We have that vision. I mean, it's not only, it's all Karabakh is actually being to be, because when you are in Shusha and you see Karabakh, I mean, it's just in front of you, under your feet, with cities around, mountains around, and you want to go to see from there, Sama. Why not to go from there to Lachin? Now the Shusha-Lachin road, which is about 35 minutes drive, is going to be shortened about 7 kilometers. So it makes much easy, comfortable. Why we are doing it? Just to make sure connectivity, logistics-wise, it will be much easier for visitors, our residents, to communicate between each other. Khankendi, university will be open this year, Karabakh University. There will be new university in the city of Khankendi, will be open this year, and the first students will come there. Students will be studying in Khankendi, come and enjoy their free time in Shusha. Just 15 minutes drive. Why not? When we came to Shusha just after the war ended, what we noticed is okay, there were different feelings, mixed feelings for each of us, but one thing was clear, that Armenians who occupied and lived there, they didn't do anything to really develop that city, to show that they take care about the city, being its nature, being its other conditions. So they were this thing were getting rotten and not looking nice. And we feel the opportunities for us that we have to really make it as a paradise. That's what Mr. President mentioned. Yeah, that's what time. If you want to really make this place and to show to all to the world that this is a long history of Armenian heritage, and as they present it everywhere. But when you come and see what they were even before the liberation, during the occupation.
Khan Kendi was a dump.
Yeah, it was a dump. And if you go there, you see, okay, it's a bit enlarged as a city. They built some houses. But if you go to the villages and to other cities, you see but where this diaspora money going on, and how they were, doing this, repatriation program, as they announced it at that time, so-called, to bring Armenians from abroad. By the way, it was a, war crime to bring the others. But they tried to show how they are growing this, but it didn't also prove itself. They couldn't really establish it. Azeris have been always a nation of forgiving, of what have. If you look in our history of recent 200 years, it's not only with the relation between Armenians and Azeris. There were many things happened in the area, in the region, but we always were quite, warm to our neighbors and the people we lived. We shared bread together, we shared living together. Of course, we don't forget, but we can forgive. And that was the basis of when the war ended, why Azerbaijan offered the peace initiative. We said, enough. We took back what belongs to us. You can live here as a normal citizens. You remember this last 3 years' efforts that we always tried to show to Armenians, but they were so brainwashed. They were so, that's what we understand, they were so, antagonistically inflated with many myths, and that Azeris, Turks will come, they will kill you or something. That it was not easy for them to, take that decision. Okay, it's their choice. But we, as a nation, we always say that everyone who respects our culture and rules are welcome to live in Azerbaijan, and we had this in the past. Baku was a very nice home for hundreds of thousands of Armenians before 1988. And when Armenians in Karabakh and their friends in diaspora started to spark or ignite that fire in 1987-88, did they think about these Armenians who were living here very peacefully without any problems? They never, we never had problems in there. My school, my friends, neighbors, we were growing up together, having no clue about this, any problems that could arise there.